Hi everyone, welcome back to H&S Collectibles. This is Cody, and tonight I wanted to go through my vinyl collection. So Rob over at the Movie Vault, he did a vinyl collection video recently, and I made a comment that I ought to do a response video. So this is in part for that. It's in part something I thought about doing for a while. And I've had a couple requests for it now too. So if you requested it, I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be kind of broke up into three sections. My records really fall into three categories, and that is soundtracks, music, and comedy. Soundtracks is by far the biggest, and I'm going to put some minute markers below to let you know where they are in case you want to skip around. But I was going to start off with the soundtracks and just get right into it. They're alphabetical. And I'm not going to show any colored records as we go, because each of these that is a colored vinyl pretty much has its own separate video in the vinyl playlist, which I'll put somewhere on here that you can click on, or you can go to my main page and find it. But yeah, starting at the beginning alphabetically, 2001 Space Odyssey. It's an original press from 1968, 1969, I think, for this one. Very cool, very good music. A lot of classical music in that one, and I enjoy that. So this is one to kind of show two different versions of. This is Fistful of Dollars, Clint Eastwood movie, of course. This is the Record Store Day release for 2020. It was a 10-inch pressing in, I believe this one was red vinyl, and wanted to pick it up for a couple reasons. One, I love it. Two, it was a colored vinyl. But I wanted to quit playing this one. So this is another one that I have. This is an original from 1967. This is my dad's, actually, and he gave it to me for my collection because he does not play his records anymore. I don't grade. I don't know much about grading records. I mean, I know that they look for shelf wear and what have you, things like that. But to me, this record is near perfect. And I'm not too sure of the value on it, but this is probably one of the oldest and in best shape records in my collection, because Dad was always kind of meticulous about his records. He really only got them out to make a copy of them. To make a tape out of them was really the only time that they got out and played. So that's for a Fistful of Dollars. Continuing down the line, Back to the Future. This is the music from the movie soundtrack. So this is the Huey Lewis stuff, Johnny Be Good. There's a couple pieces of score in this, but I always felt that it was lacking because, as much as I liked Huey Lewis, I could always get that music elsewhere, and the score is what was really great about Back to the Future. I later ended up getting Back to the Future 2 on tape, back in the late 80s, as a score, but I never did get part 1. I know I got 2 and 3 on CD, but then recently, within the last few months, I picked up Back to the Future, colored vinyl release from Mondo Records, original score, and some of it, I think this has all been previously released somewhere, as far as I know. Now these next two, Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3, which was one of my recent Colored Vinyl Tuesdays. Both of these included some music that was not released on any previous release, like the tape or the CDs that I have of it. So, yeah, you can check those out in a separate video if you like. Get that out of the way. Sorry. This is my little record player table and stand that I made this past spring when the quarantine started. And I really wish I'd have made it 3 sections tall. I've got 2 sections for storage, and then the record player sits up here. I should have made it 3 because I'm outgrowing it very quickly. Beverly Hills Cop score in a colored vinyl. Harold Faltermeyer, great music. That was in the most recent haul video. The Mondo release for Big Trouble in Little China. Again, colored vinyl, separate video on it. WaxWork's release of Child's Play in a colored vinyl. And WaxWork's Child's Play 2019, also in a colored vinyl. If I remember right, the original Child's Play is a splatter kind of marble pattern, and the new one is one disc is red, one's blue. John Carpenter's, sorry for that glare, John Carpenter's Christine in a more recent release. This came out 2017 from Very Sarabande. When I started soundtrack hunting back, probably when I was like 12 or 13, Christine was one of the first ones I got on tape, I remember. WaxWorks, Creepshow, Part 1. Mine is the red and blue Kill Lights vinyl color, so separate video there to check out. Creepshow 2, and mine is Chief Woodenhead. It's like a brown and a black. I think there was also a teal and a black, and then there was a one to do with the raft. So this was a recent pickup, Darkman, in a fire kind of red and orange vinyl. Cool soundtrack by Danny Elfman. You can always spot his music. The recent WaxWork reissue of Dawn of the Dead. So I was happy to pick this up. Missed it the first time around. I think it came out back before I really got into picking up these colored vinyls within the last couple years. So this is one where I was mad enough to I don't know, spit bullets. What's a good term for it? I was pissed when I bought this, because I've said it before. You read that label, Dawn of the Dead soundtrack 40th anniversary. Now, what do you think you're buying if it says 40th anniversary? This is not original. This is Claudio Simonetti and some from Goblin, and then some other guys playing the music from Dawn of the Dead. And it's good. It's interesting. It sounds like a really good garage band is covering Dawn of the Dead. But if you're going to advertise like that, I think that's duping people, personally. Diamonds Are Forever, James Bond. Not a colored vinyl release, but very cool. Really, I like the music in Diamonds Are Forever compared to the other ones because it seemed more subtle than like Goldfinger, where everything was big and loud. The Dirty Dozen, an original release. I forget what year. It doesn't even say on the back here. It's got a notch and a square cut out of it. A lot of these I've picked up here and there in used record stores and what have you. Escape from L.A. From Real Gone Music. This is the test tube clear with Plutoxin Virus Green vinyl. There was a black and white maybe, or black and clear Snake's Eye patch, and then I think there was an orange and red Fire release. Evil Dead 2 by WaxWork. Really good, really cool, really over-the-top music that worked real well for this movie. Of course, the whole movie's over the top. One of my favorite releases, and I play this one a lot, but The Fog by Silva Screen Records. This is the expanded release of The Fog, or expanded, because I never had the Fog soundtrack, and then I got an expanded Fog soundtrack, and it was still missing pieces. And then I got this on CD, and later I bought the record. But it's got my favorite track, and that's where the Fog enters town and is chasing them up to the church. So that's an awesome one, and that's a green and a white vinyl. Pretty cool looking. Another Record Store Day 2020 release from Morricone. but for a few dollars more soundtrack, again in a 10-inch vinyl, because I just don't know if they don't have all the music for this one. I've got another version of it that's got a lot of background noise and audio from the movie, so maybe the original tapes don't exist. I don't know. But this is the first time I've ever had this on record, so I was happy to pick that up. Let's see, The Fly, an original 1986 release of The Fly, not colored or anything, but there is a cool looking green issue of it out there. And this was also from Very Saraband. I never know if I'm saying that right. Footloose. So Beth over at B-Side Records, she's been playing some of this lately. This is one I've had for a long time. You can see it's labeled Cody. Used to, as I go through these, you'll see my name written on a lot of the older ones I had from when I was a kid. And it's not like I loaned them out, so I don't know why I was writing my name on everything. But another WaxWork release, and this was a recent pickup. Again, colored vinyl. I think blue and green smoke is the color scheme, but Friday the 13th Part 4. And Friday the 13th Part 6. This is the Cemetery Splatter version. There was two different releases, or two different color schemes for that one. And the recent release they did a Friday the 13th Part 7 with the Zombie Jason color. Get these out of the way. The pile's getting kind of tall over here. So this is a good one. Fright Night. This is a UK release, and this was actually sent to me by Bryn over at Horror Hands. So thanks again for that, Bryn. Yeah. Somewhere on here. Yeah. Yeah, this was released in the UK, public performance licenses, blah, 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 but something different than I would probably find, here in the States. So thank you, Bryn, for that. And it's good to listen to, too. It's very, very 80s. So this is one I've had since it came out, 1984. Ghostbusters, the music from the movie soundtrack. So you've got Ray Parker Jr., Saving the Day, Cleaning Up the Town, Magic, instrumental theme of the Ray Parker song, and then just a couple pieces of score, the main title theme and Dana's theme. So that one's in pretty poor shape. I've had it for a long time. But then I've got two of these. So this is the Mondo release of Ghostbusters, the score by Elmer Bernstein, which is an awesome score. And actually, I bought this one second because I had bought this one at FYE, and this is the same thing, score by Elmer Bernstein, 2-record set. This is Slimer Green, so it's green on clear. This is Proton Pack Stream, I think maybe what you want to call it, but it's orange with different colors on a clear vinyl. And I bought it also too because of that cover artwork I just really liked. So I've got basically two copies of the same score there with different color schemes. The Godfather, awesome music. Wouldn't mind finding The Godfather Part 2 at some point, but really enjoy this one. Found it at a used record store maybe, 3 months ago. So these were a couple of cool pickups. I had these on CD back in the late 90s, but it's the Best of Godzilla, Showa and Heisei series, released by, who was it? GNP Crescendo Records. So I had these CDs back in the late 90s, and then FYE did an exclusive vinyl set, 2 records in each set, all of them a color, green, purple, different things in there, limited to 1,000 copies of each. So those are cool. I really like them. And staying on Godzilla, this is the WaxWork release for Godzilla King of the Monsters. It's a 3-record set in 3 different colors. One for Rodan, one for Ghidra, and one for Godzilla. And it's kind of a heavy beast. Let's see, going another Record Store Day 2020 release, Good, Bad, and the Ugly, pressed on red. And while we're there, I've got an original Good, Bad, and the Ugly as well. And it's still in its original shrink within this sleeve, so it's near perfect as far as the cover goes, I would say. And the vinyl is in great shape. And then still over at my dad's house, he has 2 more copies of it in his collection, because we found them at record stores here and there, and he picked them up. So can't have too much Good, Bad, and the Ugly in your life. The Goonies, and I think this was limited to 1,000 or 1,500 copies. This was another, I think, FYE exclusive, and it's yellow. Best I could figure the significance of that is because of the Goonies title and the font. So, got that one. And moving right along. The Great Escape, Spanish import. And this one I thought was interesting. It's from Liberty Records, and I showed it in my most recent haul video. But the record says Música en el Cine. I don't speak Spanish. I'm probably not doing it right. It's probably atrocious, I'm sure, to those of you that can speak it. But that is the, I guess, name of the series. So, La Grande Evasion. But the front cover has a sticker on the front that says the original soundtrack. And if you look through the sticker, you can see that in El Cine print back there. So I thought that was interesting to, take an American release or a Spanish release and slap a sticker on it like that. I guess to dumb it down for us Americans, right? So this is in the sleeve. I'll get it out. Homemade sleeve for this thing because it's so big. But this is my Mondo box set for Halloween. I did not buy this as a box set. I bought parts 4 and 5. They came with the sleeve. I think that is still available on their website for like $60. You basically get the sleeve free if you buy parts 4 and 5. And I had bought parts 2 and 3 already separately, and then went ahead and picked up part 1. So now I've got a full loaded Halloween sleeve. Of course, separate video on that. So that is Halloween 1 through 5. All of them different colors. This is the Halloween 2018 soundtrack. I think in orange is mine. And then later, Sacred Bones came out with the expanded 2018 Halloween. So I picked it up as well. And it is a pumpkin splatter or something. I forget exactly what it looks like. Like I said, there's any of these almost there's a separate video for if you want to go check them out, because we're already up to, good Lord, 20 minutes. Hellraiser, and I'm only up through the H's. Hellraiser, Waxwork House 1 and 2, 2 different records, one for each movie. Kind of cool artwork on it, and love the color schemes, love the fold out. You see it in the video. It Chapter 2, so this is kind of an abridged version of the It Chapter 2 soundtrack in a red vinyl. I liked it because the price, it was only like $10 versus $30 for the full soundtrack. The recent release by Mondo of Jaws in the Blood in the Water blue and red vinyl. Love it. Love that soundtrack. Another vintage pickup recently. It's a Mad World. Great music, great movie, one of the best comedies of all time. Let's see, keep it going. Mad Max. So this is the Mad Max trilogy. So if you can see on the end there, Mad Max, Road Warrior, and Thunderdome, all in a 3-record colored vinyl set. I think it's sand, gravel, and asphalt is the color scheme. So let's see, got a separate video on that. Henry Mancini, I've just thrown him in the soundtracks because a lot of his stuff is soundtracks. Another Henry Mancini, and another Henry Mancini. Those are from my dad as well. Martin, George Romero's Martin. That was a recent pickup in my most recent haul video. This was a fun one. Found it at a vintage store selling vintage furniture, clothing, and they had a record section. But this is a Mel Brooks album, and it has soundtracks from Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, The Producers, Silent Movie, and The 12 Chairs. So, Hugo Montenegro. Not original soundtrack, but I put it in the soundtrack. If you like the Morricone Eastwood Western music, this is great. Look up Hugo Montenegro and what he did with it. A second album by a second album by Montenegro, where he did Hang 'Em High and a few other selections. Yep, I had a crash over here. I want to keep doing them alphabetical. Stand them up. So, WaxWork again, Night of the Living Dead in a green vinyl release. A Nightmare on Elm Street split between red and green for Freddy's sweater. I think there was a striped version. Mine is half and half. The Odd Couple. Cool music on The Odd Couple if you like that movie. I love it. Patton. Neither of those are colored vinyl, just an original release. So I love Charlie Brown and Peanuts. This is The Boy Named Charlie Brown soundtrack. The Charlie Brown Christmas in a snowflake pattern print. It's not a colored vinyl, but a printed picture vinyl. It was a Walmart exclusive. The soundtrack to the new Peanuts movie. Got it on sale at FYE. I think it's in yellow and brown for Charlie Brown's shirt and shorts. The original cast album of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. I've had that since I was a kid. An orange vinyl release of It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. So, Mondo, Phantasm. This is not a colored vinyl, unfortunately. I missed out on that, so this is just standard black. And let's see, Predator in Predator Blood Green vinyl. So this is kind of, I think this is one of them that started me down the colored vinyl path and got me in trouble, because I just really like the different colors and the different artwork and stuff like that. So this is a good one. Great music by Silvestri. John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness. Love this one, and I love how it looks. It's green and black, smoky like what was in the jar. But an awesome, just brooding, building soundtrack in Prince of Darkness. The Return of the Living Dead. Not the score, but all the punk music in a limited Tarman vinyl, black and brown. Limited to 1,000 copies. Revenge of the Nerds. A lot of great, I don't even know how to describe it, that kind of 80s music. New wave, or I don't know what you want to call it, but cool music in Revenge of the Nerds. And Pocket Protector Brown vinyl. Limited to 1,000 copies. RoboCop. So this is one of my favorites. This was, I think, the first colored vinyl video I did. And it's kind of a RoboCop liquid chrome is the color scheme. This is a really good soundtrack too by Palladores, if I'm saying his name right. see here. Keep going. Rocky, older original release of it. Rocky Horror Picture Show in a red 2-record set. Got that at FYE, but I don't think it was an exclusive to them. The new release of The Running Man, not colored, but I wish it was. I wish it was like, Richard's Running Man suit, gold and gray or something like that would be great. The original release of The Running Man from '87, just an older copy. And Shaun of the Dead in a red release. This is from Mondo. And getting into some Star Trek now. Star Trek The Motion Picture, an original. This is a neat one, so I got a video on this. This is a single of the Star Trek theme in a Starfleet insignia shaped record. It's just a die cut record single. It's like, I think 100 seconds worth of music on both sides. This is a great one. Found this at that same vintage store that sells the furniture and the clothes, but Star Trek II in really good shape. I was happy to find it. Not soundtrack, but I've got it down here, and the case is in bad shape, but the record's in good. That's duct tape holding the case together. But Mr. Spock's Music from Outer Space. So this is Leonard Nimoy singing different songs that are kind of sci-fi in nature. Twinkle Twinkle Little Earth, Beyond Antares, Alien, Where Is Love. Yeah, this is not one I play often, but I'm happy to have in the collection. Original soundtrack for Star Trek. This is a release from the mid-'80s, but I've seen this at FYE now re-released in a colored vinyl. I think it might be Command Gold. There may have even been 3, gold, blue, and red like the uniforms, and you didn't know what you were going to get. Star Trek 4, just picked this up last weekend at a used record store. Stripes in a red, white, and blue vinyl. A lot of good music in Stripes. Kind of like Patton. If you like Marshall music, Stripes is good. The Swarm. Cool music in The Swarm. Always liked this movie. Always thought it was underrated. One of my favorite killer bug movies in the 70s. Found this one last weekend. Used record store, but Superman, the original. 2-record set. This is just a set called 10 Golden Years, so it's something like 50 or 60 tracks from different movies from United Artists. So it's an older record. Some of it's original, some of it's not, but it's all pretty cool. And now we're getting down to the last couple, but the Terminator, colored vinyl, 2-record set. And almost last, The Thing, 2-record box set from WaxWork. So it was The Thing from Morricone's score and then John Carpenter's Lost Cues album. And like I said, I got a separate video on that. My legs are going to sleep from stacking records on them. And then the last 2 soundtracks I have, I just saved towards the end because they're my autographed ones. I've got They Live from the original release from 1988. I want to pick up that Mondo release too, but I had this one signed by Roddy Piper, and he wrote to Cody and Sam. Sam's my son. No bubblegum, Roddy Piper. And he was really, really a nice guy. I was glad we got to meet him. And then my other one, kind of one of the jewels of my collection to me, is an original release of Phantasm from 1979, Varice Sarabande, signed by the whole cast, mostly, the main cast anyway. But Reggie Bannister, Michael Thornberry, A. Michael Baldwin, Cat Lester, Angus Scrimm, and Don Coscarelli up there in the center. So this is one of my favorite pieces in the collection. So I'm going to rearrange a little bit and come back and go through the non-soundtrack albums. Okay, and we're back. Got that all straightened out. So going through the music, I will just say right off the bat, I have very few records, it seems like, anymore that are just music, or, popular music, not soundtracks. So, and even some of them are soundtrack-ish, like Herb Alpert. That is Whipped Cream and Other Delights is the name of the album. The Blues Brothers, I have this down in the music section because this is not the movie soundtrack. This is the performance that they did that had Soul Man and Rubber Biscuit. Pretty good release. I do want to pick up the soundtrack sometime. Last time I left that vintage store, they had it in the window, and I didn't see it till I was on my way out, so I'm going to ask about it next time. Switched on Bach. An early work by Wendy Carlos, who did Clockwork Orange later, the synthesizer work. A very rough looking but plays well copy of Timepieces by Eric Clapton. Let's see, one of my favorite singers, Leonard Cohen. So here's I'm Your Man. Got that record. 10 new songs. These are not in alphabetical order once I hit an artist. Various Positions. I'm Your Man, Various Positions, and The Future are his 3 best albums, in my opinion. The Future, I ordered it. It's supposed to be on its way. Creedence, The Hits. Picked this one up in the last couple months or so, but Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 1. Really good one. Want to pick up part 2 sometime. Just haven't yet. Michael Jackson, Thriller. And again, there's my name, marking my territory. Michael Jackson, Bad. Billy Joel, An Innocent Man. Maybe Billy Joel's best album, in my opinion. This is one of those, remember when you could order records off TV and a commercial would come on for a collection? Magic Moments, and this has got everything from Crystal Gayle to Bonnie Tyler, to Roberta Flack, Gladys Knight and the Pips. It's just a bunch of kind of easy listening love songs. And this is another autographed one that I have, but this is Bad Outta Hell 2. The re-release that was done a couple years ago, and I had Meatloaf sign it at a convention. So that's a good one. I love Meatloaf's music. There's a red and black release of Bad Outta Hell 1 I want to pick up, but haven't done it yet. John Cougar Mellencamp, Big Daddy. I know Beth was getting rid of this one. She said it just wasn't her style, and I'm with you. But there's 3 songs on here I really like, and that is To Live, Theo and Weird Henry, and Jackie Brown. Just mainly because Jackie Brown reminds me of a friend of mine. And then another John Cougar Mellencamp this time, but Scarecrow. Picked that up sealed just about a month ago. Real good music on Scarecrow. Quiet Riot, Metal Health. Had that one since back in the day. There's my name on his knee. Let's see. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. 9 Tonight. Live album. Simon and Garfunkel. Sounds of Silence. And we're getting towards the end of these. Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. Picked that up just recently for a few bucks, and it plays perfectly. Stray Cats, Rant and Rave. And last, Van Halen, 1984. Like I said, all of these. Actually, that's got my sister's name written on that one. That was her album. Then I get into my comedy section. So they're kind of a variety of things. I love comedy. In fact, I think I have just as many comedy records as I do regular. But George Carlin, 3 of them. I have Takeoffs and Put-Ons, AM and FM, and Toledo Window Box. The Takeoffs and Put-Ons is his stuff he did like on the Ed Sullivan Show when he was more clean cut before he went into his hippie stage. And the other 2 are from the Little David years. There is a CD box set called George Carlin, The Little David Years. Get it. It's well worth it. It's all the older stuff he did pre-HBO. Rodney Dangerfield, No Respect. That's a great album. Funny. Weird Al's Greatest Hits and Weird Al Even Worse. Always liked me some Weird Al. Then a mess of Ray Stevens albums. So Ray Stevens, Shriners Convention. Get the Best of Ray Stevens. This is another one of them where you ordered it off TV and sent in $15 or $20 or what have you. Ray Stevens Greatest Hits. Ray Stevens Cracking Up. And a second Ray Stevens Greatest Hits, because I think someone got that for me for Christmas, not knowing I had it. Ray Stevens Surely You Joust. And actually, I think that's it for Ray Stevens. And then this was a recent pickup, Monty Python, Matching Tie and Handkerchief. Don Rickles, Hello Dummy. Lily Tomlin, and That's the Truth, playing as Edith Ann. That's a pretty entertaining album. Steve Martin, Comedy Is Not Pretty. His stand-up was always odd, but I love this one, and it's got the cruel shoes. Great Moments in Comedy with Jonathan Winters. Some really good stuff on there if you like Jonathan Winters and kind of that improv comedy. And then this one has just a smattering of stuff. Christmas comedy classics. And you've got Monster Holiday by Lon Chaney. The Chipmunk Song by the Chipmunks. Mel Blanc singing a couple different songs. And then last, my comedy. Bill Cosby for adults only. Yeah, not too many people happy to say they're Bill Cosby fans anymore, is there? So that's really it for the vinyl collection. Other than that, I just have some cartoonish albums like the Smurfs sing. I'll go ahead and show them since they're here. Sweet Pickles, just a kid's album. I don't know if anybody else grew up on Sweet Pickles, but I did. Saw this at a used bookstore for $1. Disney's Christmas Favorites. This is another picture print album, but The Fox and the Hound. The case is long gone. Don't know what happened to it, but still got the album. This was one of my favorites because it's just good music, but the California Raisins, and it's really other singers singing Motown hits. And then this was the Smurfs I mentioned. Merry Christmas with the Smurfs. And then the last one of the goofier ones, Chipmunk Punk. And it's the Chipmunks singing songs from the 80s, really. Call Me, You May Be Right, My Sharona, stuff like that. So that's it. Yeah, it's my collection. It's ever growing, especially lately. In fact, I've got, I think, 4 albums inbound. Should be here in the next week or so, so you'll see them in a haul. And if there was any of these soundtracks that are a colored vinyl you want to see more detail on, go look at my vinyl playlist, and you can check them out there. But if you've stuck with me this long, thanks. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't. It keeps me going and keeps me optimistic and engaged, when I see people commenting and chatting and saying things. So, yeah, let me know what you think below. Is there anything I'm missing? Is there anything you really liked? Anything that I don't have in my playlist that you want to see? Yeah, yeah. Anything you might even recommend. I mean, right here you're seeing what I like. So if you have anything to recommend, just let me know. And until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and come back and see me. Thanks.